So now we're kind of pulling into the software arena. What kind of software outside the IDE do you guys use to help with your development?
I just started using the Arc browser not too long ago. It's been like maybe 2 months that I've been using it, and I've been enjoying it. Like it's a nothing drastically different than any other browser. Like it's still a browser for the internet. There's just a couple of little tools, features, niceties built in that I enjoy. There's like it makes it really easy to switch between profiles. It makes it really easy to like split your views. And it's a browser, so it's free to download and give it a try. And I've been recommending it to people to like, if they're unhappy with whatever they're using, to at least give it a whirl. Like worst case scenario, you just don't like it. And you go back to whatever you're using, but I've been enjoying it quite a bit.
So what's the upside of Arc? Let's say over Chrome.
Uh, well, I mean, under the hood, it's Chromium, so it's still gonna use half your RAM, or more. But it, like I was saying, it has some really nice ways to set up what they call spaces, which are sort of profiles, and make it really nice to switch between them. And you have tab groups in them. The way that they do bookmarking and everything, it's a little more. Your tabs are always there, but they're not necessarily always open.
Mm.
And so you can kind of see them and you click into them. It's really easy to break it out into a split view side by side or up and down. Um, you can really easily, and I know we can do this because we're devs, but like not everybody can. You can like really easily remove elements from a web page. They have these, what are they called? They're called like boosts. You can just change the background color, like edit the CSS essentially, but they make it really easy to do that. You can have themes for the whole browser when you're on a certain page. You can remove, like if you're over on Twitter and you're like, I hate this one section over here that tells me the trending crap going on in the world. You can just like click a button to delete that, and every time you're on Twitter, that side
That
panel just goes away.
Okay, I'm
that's a cool,
downloading Arc
that's a
browser
cool
right
feature.
now for that.
Yeah, all right, all right.
Just
That's
for
the thing.
that.
Just
Very,
run through the list of features until you
yeah,
find something that everybody can get in on. So yeah,
that's very interesting.
it's pretty cool. Yeah, like I said,
Um,
it's just a browser. It's not like, oh my God, the internet has changed forever. It's just a way to consume the internet. But I've been enjoying it quite a bit. There was a small learning curve because like it's a sidebar instead of everything on the top, and like things are a little more hidden because you're supposed to use a lot more keyboard shortcuts. But once you get used to it, I have been very pleased with my decision. So
okay, I've bookmarked that download page. I'll be coming back to that after the show.
there you go. Yeah.
All right, worth the price of admission. But browsers in general, I mean, I think all of us, because let's be honest, folks, developers aren't the best programmers. We're just really damn good at Google. So
Yeah, that's fair.
you gotta have a browser.
Yeah.
You know, um, so I mean, obviously, I don't think I've ever run into a dev or could conceive of a dev who doesn't have a browser open almost all the time. I, I think
Yeah.
that's general population at this point in time. But even before that was a thing, um, I think devs were pretty active on the internet. You know, bulletin boards and news groups and stuff, trying to figure this crap out because it's complicated.
Yep.
So,
Agreed.
what other kinds of software stuff do you guys use?
Crescent, I've been doing a lot of talking. Save my voice.
So, so I mean, I I was struggling to come up with this because it's really just standard productivity tools. I do use sort of 3 different browsers on a regular basis just because I like to do certain things in different ones. So like Google Chrome is where I'm always logged in there as me, Creston. So I get Gmail, I get my calendar, and I'm fine with whatever's tracking there. That's, you know, wherever most of my work is done. But I don't like Google tracking by that particular account what I'm searching for on a regular basis. So I usually tend to do that in a different browser with a different search engine potentially. And then based upon how you log into different like AWS consoles or whatnot, because I do a lot of consulting with different companies, sometimes I keep different browsers or different profiles open for different customers, because otherwise it'll get confusing, fast. So that's a little bit of the different stuff that I do. And of course, the typical productivity tools like having, a word processor, an Excel, one of those, as well as Slack for communication for, certain clients. But other than that, again, I'm mostly a minimalist. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean,
Yeah.
like I had mentioned previously in our IDE episodes, I'm still rocking the Sublime Text, I'm
Yes,
Well,
old school and minimalist. Nice. I also do have other browsers that I'll open up, mostly for when I'm doing front end work, like JavaScript or CSS bugs that are like exclusive to usually Safari. But yeah, like usually it'll just be like, hey, on some browsers it's goofy. And I've kind of gotten used to, if I'm doing anything other than like standard stuff for a front end feature, I'll test it myself in multiple browsers before I push it up, just because that's like been the number one thing with front end work that's bitten me, is like I do all my testing in a Chromium based browser and then someone opens it in Safari or back in the day IE and it's like everything's broken. It's great. Never mind. Let me open it on that real quick.
That is something that's bitten me, in that particularly the fonts are different. Like I'm using Ubuntu and it looks a certain way on Chrome on Ubuntu. And then I go to a Windows and the fonts are different enough that it's just changed the layout of certain things. I'm like, oh man, come on.
Yeah.
If you like this clip and want to watch another one, you can click right here. Or if you want to watch the full video, you can click here.